The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Welcome to Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson.
Justin Spears, I like that.
With Justin Spears and Ali Farhang on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, ESPN Tucson. Brought to you by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I want to be entertaining, but I'm not stupid enough to compare myself to Ali.
It's going down Friday night at Arizona Stadium, Battle of the Wildcats. We've got Arizona versus Kansas State. I'm super excited for this game. Now the season starts for Arizona. Meanwhile, Kansas State, they kind of come in here limping a little bit. They are 1-2 on the season. Their only win is by a field goal against North Dakota. They just lost to Army, but these Wildcats are not to be messed with. This is a solid Kansas State team, regardless of their record. And we've got Tim Fitzgerald from GoPowercat.com joining us here. Good morning, Tim. How you doing?
I'm good. It's I'm writing my post-game grades. They're not good. They're just
So what happened on Saturday? What do you think led to Army coming into Manhattan and walking away with a win?
This is a kind way of saying I'm old, but I've covered a lot of football. I've never seen anything like it. They consistently picked up yards on first and second down, allowing them to be in third and short or fourth and short, converting 6 out of 7 times. They had one big pass play, which Army will always hit you with, but they only did it once. It was just a consistent grind from the end of the first half. They held the ball 2:25 at the end of the first half to score their first touchdown and change the complexion of the game at 13-7. And then they came out in the second half. Guys, they held the ball for nearly 27 minutes of the second half.
Wow.
Kansas State ran 13 offensive plays and had 2 possessions in the entire half. And as far as we can tell, I heard you mention AI earlier. If we can trust AI, because this is not a record they keep, but it appears to be the fewest plays run in a half of college football by a team since World War II.
Wow.
Damn, man.
So the offense is going to be fresh Friday.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean much. Look, the offense has had its own struggles this year, and I lay that at the coach's feet, and having an incredible dual threat quarterback that they've decided needs to be a pocket passer and not run him.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. And, on the defensive side, Army's quarterback, Cale Helams, with 41 carries for 124 yards. It's only a 3-yard average,
Yeah.
but it seemed like it's so demoralizing as a fan to watch your defense just give up yard after yard rushing, and you can't stop the run. Were the fans kind of edgy as the game transpired?
It was hard to explain. I mean, again, if you do the math, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, 4th and 1, 3 more yards. And that's just literally what happened over and over and over again. They really didn't break many long runs at all. K-State's defense was in generally the right place, but on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage often. They actually did a pretty good job, just not precise enough in where they were making the tackles. And often that came down to hitting the quarterback in particular, on the right side of the down marker, and then letting him bully his way to a first down. I'm going to say it. This is not a tough K-State team. They're not a fiery K-State team, and they have let teams convert first downs out of 4th downs at a really alarming rate this year, and I bet you we see Arizona try to take advantage of that.
3 yards in a cloud of dust. My high school coach would have been proud. Do you think, though, that the coaches are going to hear what you're saying? And I see it, too, where they have a really talented dual-threat quarterback. Do you think the emphasis is going to be on, hey, Avery, we're going to get you on the move a little bit more, Avery Johnson, your quarterback, and some design running plays for him?
It seems logical. They've announced to the world they're not going to run in between the tackles. They're not going to use quarterback power, which is a cornerstone play of the K-State football success through the years, whether it was Colin Klein or one of the older quarterbacks. Avery's not built the same way. They don't have any experience behind him, so they are being very careful to protect him to the point where they lose games. That seems like a bad trade-off. They've got to find a way. to use him, and they can't just volunteer, hey, we're not going to run him up the middle, because then the defense doesn't honor that at all. They don't have to worry about it, and they're always waiting for him on the edge. They have to find a way to use him, even if it's as simple as, keep in mind, they almost lost to North Dakota the week before, and what saved them was they were trying to move downfield, ran a bunch of deep patterns, just hollowed out the middle of the defense, and Avery ran down to the 6-yard line. They're not even doing that on a regular basis, trying to create space for him to operate. It's just maddening. It's crazy what they're doing.
I can't believe I'm asking this question because I think that he is a really good athlete. But will there ever come to a point where there's a quarterback controversy? Like, is there a backup quarterback that could be the starter, or is Avery the guy all the way through?
He's going to be the guy all the way through. They have not had a moment where they could put a backup quarterback on the field. So it's just kind of a compounding effect at this point. They don't even get a chance to look at one of the other guys. It's really not Ben Avery. If you look at his stats, they're pretty good. He's completing a pretty good clip. Before the game, it was around 68% of his passes. Got a lot of touchdown throws. He's throwing the ball deep exceedingly well, which explains why they don't do it very often. And I just don't think they're ever going to move away from him, because they don't know what they have. And the problems are so much greater than Avery. And honestly, the problems Avery's suffering from are inflicted by his own coaches, my belief.
So this is going to be an interesting game. Here was like Kansas State and Arizona. They jersey swapped a couple of players. Kansas State was like, all right, we'll give you Trey Spivey if we get Gunnar Baldonado. Tell us about Trey Spivey's career at Kansas State, the couple of years that he was there, and then how has Gunnar evolved since he's gotten to Kansas State?
Well, Gunner's been hurt, as you guys know. He missed the spring, missed much of the fall, but he's such an experienced player they can put him on the field. He's not starting. K-State has some pretty good safeties, although you can't tell. And BJ Payne comes in as highly thought of team captain, and he stunk. He has absolutely stunk this season. So I think we'll see more of Gunnar Maldonado. Is Trey Spivey in the rotation for Arizona? Because he could never really break it at K-State. Despite the physical assets, he couldn't quite do all the other things you need to do at receiver.
Yeah, Trey is going to be one of Arizona's top 3 guys. He scored his first touchdown last week, and as Arizona looks to replace Tetsuroa McMillan, they're going to do it by committee, but he is one of those big body receivers, and I think he's probably the best one at that X receiver spot.
That's interesting. That's good for Trey. I'm really happy. So much of a kid's process is being in the right place with the right system, with the right coaches, and it appears he might have found it.
No doubt.
So, I watched the game in Dublin against Iowa State. I know North Dakota State was a little bit more passing, but the connection between the Iowa State game and the game this week against Army, is it just the front sevens having a really tough time stopping the run? Because when I've been watching Kansas State, that seems like the trend, the pattern for that defense.
Yes, and here's the encouraging part is, and that's sarcasm, that Kansas State has run a 3-man front for the last few seasons. They felt like they were giving up too much run yardage, and Chris Kleiman and his defense coordinator Joe Klanderman were not using the 3-man front until any part of their career until a few years ago. So they went back to the 4-man front this season to help them stop the run. It's worked out terrifically.
Tim, before
by the way, that was also sarcasm.
I love Tim.
Ollie, you're my kind of guy. You get it.
Buddy. I was like, you started talking for like the first 15 seconds. I'm like, that me and him could be buddies.
All right, Tim, before we get you out of here, just looking ahead to the game coming up here on Friday, we got to see Arizona versus Kansas State last year. Kansas State ended Arizona's 9-game winning streak. What are your expectations for Friday night here in Tucson?
I don't know. If K-State doesn't fix some of its problems, which are mostly inside the helmet, playing with a little fire, passion, and making that definitive play, whether offense or defense, that kind of changes momentum. They're going to lose, and they're going to lose a lot of games this season. And the coaches have to use their players better, but the players just have to perform at a higher level. This is a talented team that is doing an incredible job of hiding that.
That is Tim Fitzgerald from GoPowercat.com. Tim, you going to make it out to Tucson?
Yep, I'll be there. We leave Thursday. I'm not appreciating a short week of work up before a road game, but we will be there. Me and my sidekick will cover the game in person. And I would like to thank you. I showed up early for my hit this morning, an hour early. So I got to listen to you talk about the Chiefs losing in Brazil. So it was a double whammy. I got to hear my Kansas City Chiefs, my one thing I cling to as a fan, be discussed in how they lost. I was so mad at the game, I canceled my Brazilian the next morning.
Tim Fitzgerald, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, you're an absolute gentleman and a scholar. Thank you so much for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you down
Tim,
here in Tucson.
best advice they give you in Tucson, you're sitting in the press box, get to the buffet line before Spears if you want anything.
That is solid advice.
Yeah, it is. I'm telling you.
I'll try
And
to
the
do it
brownies
quiet.
at halftime, definitely, you might want to leave 2 minutes before the halftime starts if you want to get a brownie.
Are they just regular brownies or?
No, there's
anything
no special ingredients in there. Although I can
Okay.
bring one for you, Tim, if you want one.
It'll have a bite out of it, but it's still good.
Hey, Tim, thank you for joining us, man. Absolutely.
Thank you, boys.
Looking forward to seeing
Thank
you.
you, Tim.
You bet.